All right, so welcome team. Today I'm going to show you the Black Belt Marketing Secrets Revealed. I'm going to show you the 3 secrets for martial arts school owners and managers to fill their mats through local grade schools every single year. The cool part is you don't have to spend a dime and it takes less than 3 hours of work. Give me a thumbs up. That sounds good to you guys. Awesome. Now's the time to learn. And I'm guessing that for a lot of you, this probably is not your first webinar. The first thing I want to mention is that if you've ever failed at filling your math consistently in the past, it's not your fault. There's a lot of information out there and it can be confusing. Many times the information from experts in the martial arts industry is outdated. They've been spewing the same outdated crap since the invention of the flip phone. Okay. So if you've been concerned in the past that there's no reliable, consistent, evergreen strategy to enroll new students, I want to put those fears to rest. You can do this. You just need the right strategy and the right person to explain it to you, someone who's done it before. And it's foolish to rely on Facebook and Instagram because any of those things can, the algorithms can change overnight. Now, the big experts, they want you to think that you need a big budget and a strong social media presence to be successful. And I'm here to tell you that they're wrong. They have their own reasons for wanting you to think that, but it's not true. So if you ever thought about Facebook and Instagram and other social media sites being fleeting and confusing and always changing the rules, you're right. And that's why marketing companies and ad agencies are always fighting to catch up with changing algorithms at your expense, like you pay for that. So what we're here for, and what I'm going to show you, is how you can run a martial arts business that brings in new students every single year from one strategy that will work forever. Okay, this is an evergreen strategy because grade schools are never going to go away. So if you're able to master the secrets I'm going to show you, you'll be able to breathe easy and be confident knowing where your next student is coming from. Does that sound good to you guys? Awesome. So question is, why are you here right now? So my goal for this presentation is to help 2 different types of people. For those who are beginners and just starting the martial arts business, you'll learn the proven system for how to enroll new students through local grade schools every year without spending a dime. For people with more experience and martial arts school owners and managers, you'll learn never before seen strategies to become the go-to expert in your area and enroll more students on a consistent, reliable basis without having to worry about long droughts in between. And by the end of this presentation, my goal is to get you to believe that the Fuel Your School framework is the key to fill your mats and create financial freedom that you want from your martial arts passion. And I'm going to show you my proprietary framework that will make it simple and easy to implement in less than 3 hours. Give me a thumbs up. That sounds awesome. You guys still with me over here? All right, great. So if I'm going to show you reasons why this is for you. So if you're a martial arts school owner or manager who wants to be successful in business, just like you've been successful in martial arts, or you want to have predictability and consistency with new students and enrollments, you're not an expert in social media or Facebook ads, and you don't want to be. That's just not who you want to be. You're tired of always trying to come up with new events or marketing ideas. I want a reliable and steady source of new students, or you want to be able to make more money to have upgrades to your dojo and hire instructors so you have freedom in your business. And this is going to be for you. Now, this is not going to be for you if you're a martial arts school owner or manager who thinks they've heard it all, already knows how to do it because they're following the same system that your instructor showed you, or you already have a steady flow of new students consistently every single month. Probably not going to need this. Or you're an expert in social media on Facebook ads and you have no problem getting a ton of leads and converting them to members. It's not going to be for you. If you think that a martial arts school, in order to be successful, has to be a McDojo, that's not going to be for you as well. Or you want to do everything on your own and make upgrades, and you never want to make upgrades or hire other instructors because they won't be as good as you, then also this is not going to be for you. Now, I want you guys to kind of like understand a little bit about my background. So I went to college and my goal was to be an attorney. Okay, that's what I wanted to be, or work in politics. And I opened up a school my senior year. Now, since then, I've poured my heart and soul into the martial arts business. I built a 7-figure net worth by 28 years old with one martial arts school. I've been featured in Black Belt Magazine, ABC, Fox, CBS, and more. Now, I started because my mom, I had asthma and I was really not confident. I would never raise my hand at school or do anything. My mom said, hey, you got to do martial arts with the rest of your family. So they put me in it. And martial arts has always been a big part of my family. Everyone knows Master Brenner over here, my brother. And But the thing is, like, I thought when I opened up my school, I was automatically going to be successful because, well, it's like in my family, right? So here's what happened. I was swerving in between cars, the local supermarket parking lot. I had my head down, my headphones in, the skin of my knuckles were cracking. It was February and the wind was like lashing my hands. And I was thinking, man, this is not what I wanted my job to be. 1 year earlier, I decided to start my martial arts business. I was basically disregarding my college degree. But I love martial arts, I love fitness, I love working with kids. And it seemed like I should follow my age old passion, which was, follow your, or sorry, the age old advice, which is follow your passion, right? Plus, my family's in the martial arts business. I thought it'd be easy. But now I was putting flyers on car windows. I was avoiding eye contact with people who passed me, so I didn't have to see their annoyed stares. I was living in my parents' basement, and I was second guessing the decision to ever start this business. And I was looking for help. So I attended dozens of seminars. I followed advice from industry experts. I hired an agency to run my ads. I went to every community event, posted pictures on social media daily. I hired a guy in a Ninja Turtle costume to twirl a sign on the sidewalk. And I even offered just as many free lessons as I possibly could. And yeah, I had some students, but I barely had enough to cover expenses. And maybe it's not a good neighborhood, I thought. Like maybe I'm just in a bad spot. And I figured if I didn't figure this out soon, I'd have to call it quits. I'd have to let down the few students that I had, and I had to find another job. Now, all the advice and strategy I was getting from experts just wasn't working. They claimed their tactics worked for everyone, but it didn't work for me. And the firmness I felt under my feet when I first started my karate school now felt like quicksand. And that was until I met someone named Alex. Now, I assume that because he was at the same martial arts business seminar that I was at, that his martial arts business was dying too. And I asked him how he was doing, and he said his martial arts school was doing better than ever. Confused, I looked at him like, how is that possible? And I was embarrassed to tell him about my failing school. So I picked and prodded until he told me his secret. And I held him hostage in a hotel lobby for the next hour, where I painstakingly wrote down every detail about how he used one marketing method to fill his mats for free. He explained that most martial arts instructors will go teach a program at a school, but when they are denied, they give up. Or even if they are accepted, they don't know how to convert those kids into paying members at their martial arts school. He explained that most martial arts instructors do a free seminar one time, and then after that, they call it quits. And he told me how he did this system with daycares. He would charge $20 per student for daycare. At the end of the week, he would do a white belt ceremony, and he would roll 30% of people who came to the white belt ceremony. And I'm like, holy crap, maybe this is the secret I've been missing the whole time. I could definitely do this. So I was excited about the new strategy. I started calling local daycares the next day. Now, some rejected me right away, and they just said, like, send me an email with more information. But to my excitement, a couple of them agreed to let me in. Okay. Now, the next 5 weeks, I followed the system, and I enrolled 41 students in full paying memberships. And at that time, $160 a month. Okay. And I realized at this point, I didn't have to be an expert in marketing or social media. I just had to set up micro seminars with schools where all the kids are. So I got excited, and I discovered, I got excited about the secret I discovered. And I wanted to see if it could also work at elementary schools that had 10 times the amount of kids. So I tried the same exact method as the daycares, but it didn't work. So instead, I tested dozens of other tactics and variations that were similar, but more geared to large public and private schools. I failed over and over and over again until finally I figured it out, and eventually I got it. Now, each school we did micro seminars in generated dozens of new students and thousands of dollars donated back to the kids, which created enormous goodwill for us in the community. And it worked for public schools and private schools. And just in a small 7-mile radius, we were in 22 plus public and private schools. Now, I was able to generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in new revenue from just this one source. I didn't expect it, but became the local celebrities and the go-to martial arts school in the area. So I couldn't hold my excitement, and I had to share it with everyone else in my martial arts family and network. And they were able to fill their mats too. So it wasn't just me being magical. And the cool part was I was able to buy a car. I was able to move out of my parents' basement. This is when I got to 200 students, and we're drinking some champagne with my parents. And I was able to buy a new house, all at 24 years old. And what's even cooler is I didn't have to consider like getting a new job and calling it quits on my students. Now, I had positioned myself as the community as an expert. And on top of that, I was able to watch how other martial arts schools in my network are able to serve thousands of kids in their community by doing the same exact thing. Now, COVID slapped many martial arts businesses back to the Stone Age, and some are seeing a surge of growth from people wanting to come back to in-person activities. But the sudden surge is not going to last forever, and I'm tired of seeing so many martial arts schools stuck like I was. So I put it all together for you guys in the Double Your Dojo framework for filling your mats for free through local daycares and elementary schools. It takes less than 3 hours of work. You'll be able to do it even during COVID times, even if you're tried in the past and school said no, even if you're in a super strict school district. I'm going to give you the exact same framework of secrets we use. Are you guys still with me? Give me a thumbs up if you guys still with me. All right, cool. So again, you don't have to take my word for it. This is a picture of my account when we hit our first 70K month in gross. We'd go all the way up into the 80s and the low 90s. Now, John, he was cool. He was able to catapult his karate school using the same exact strategies that I'm going to show you guys to 170K a year in personal income. Miss Felicia, as a school manager, not even as an owner, as a school manager, which is even more impressive. She was able to take a declining school from 28K a month and turn it a consistent 60K a month using these same strategies. So I'm sure you guys get the point. I'm going to show you guys how to do this today. Now, the hard way to fill your mats is hand out flyers with a free or cheap trial, post on Facebook or Instagram every day with random boosts, pay an agency to run your ads and hope the leads aren't crap, and hope that word of mouth just works out. Or you can follow the advice of gurus who have the same marketing plan since the dinosaurs, okay? So secret number one that I'm gonna share with you guys is school hacking, okay? I'm gonna show you how to use micro seminars at local schools and daycares to consistently generate new students. I'm gonna show you how to recruit cheerleaders and to become your biggest cheerleaders of your school to recruit new students into paying members in your dojo for free. Pretty awesome. Some of you guys, I woke some of the guys up here. That's good. And secret number three, I'm going to show you how to be a celebrity sensei. Okay. I'm going to show you how to become the local martial arts celebrity in your area and get schools to call and invite you back year after year, even if you've been rejected before. So this is called the Fuel Your School Framework. You guys have your pen and paper ready? All right, cool. So secret number one, school hacking. All right, I'm going to show you how to hack your way in. So I'm going to tell you guys a little story how I got to this time. So first, I tried calling schools. Okay, I offered a free program. I'd be really excited about it. I'd be nice on the phone. So I'd send them, but eventually they would just say, "Hey, can you just send me an email?" So I get all excited. I'd send them a long email explaining everything. But then I would think, oh, it's going to be great. They're definitely going to call me back. But I'd still be sitting there waiting for a response. So then I'd call back and they either hang up on me or they'll say, we'll get back to you. And I would just felt like slamming my phone. Okay. The emails, calls, nothing worked. But then I had an idea. Okay. And my idea is, okay, I was talking to a parent at school and she told me how great it was, how we remembered everyone's names. And I realized at that moment, I'm an idiot. I need to request the principal and guidance counselor by name, right? I need to know who exactly they are. So I went online and I found the guidance counselor's name and I could talk to them like an old friend and I could name drop. And all this information was public. I just wasn't using it before. So I'd get connected right away, which was amazing breakthrough. But even with this, I'd leave a voicemail, tell them who I was, where I'm calling from, and I wouldn't get a call back. I'd be sitting there crossing my arms, okay? So I would look at the website, get their information. I'd be able to connect with them or try to connect with them, but they wouldn't call me back. Most of the time they wouldn't answer. So it's all right. I'm going to try to use my connections and thought that might help, but nothing changed. So it's all right. If my connections aren't going to work, like people who I know are at the school, then I'm going to go knocking at the school. Okay, go knock at the door. But then this would happen. They would just slam the door in my face. They would think I was weird. Okay. So I felt like slamming my head against the wall, and I just couldn't figure out a way to make this work. Raise your hand if you ever felt like you're trying something over and over again, and you feel like slamming your head against the wall. It's like nothing works. And so I got lazy. Okay, I'm not proud of this, but it's what happened. And I decided I was going to call one more time, and this time I left the most. I don't know. I keep saying this time I left the most half-assed voicemail you ever heard in your life. I was like, "Hey, it's Matt. Leave me a call back." And and all of a sudden, a couple hours later, I was shocked and I started getting calls back. And that's how I discovered the Who Dat method. Okay. Now, I didn't really know what the great part was, leaving this lazy ass voicemail. Yeah, they called me back, but I didn't really know what to say. Right. I was almost like shocked and taken back. This is really happening. They had no idea who I was. Yeah, and they didn't really trust me. Now, raise your hand if you know Zig Ziglar. You guys know Zig Ziglar? All right, cool. So he has a great quote. One of my biggest mentors. And growing up, it was basically my biggest mentors were him, Tony Robbins, Eminem, and 50 Cent. Okay, that's all I listened to in my car driving around. All right, those are the people I listen to. And he said, if people like you, they'll listen to you, but if they trust you, they'll do business with you. Okay. So I figured, okay, I was able to hack my way in, but how do I get them to trust me? And that's when I read Seth Godin's Tribes. Give me a thumbs up if you read this book or know who Seth Godin is. No, not sure. Okay, if you haven't, it's an awesome book. And he said a tribe, as he defines it, is a group of people connected to one another, connected to a leader who's connected to an idea. And for millions of years, human beings have been part of a tribe. And a group only needs two things to be a tribe: a shared interest and a way to communicate. Okay. So if I wanted to be able to build rapport with them and build their trust, I had to do those two things: build a shared interest and a way to communicate. And here's how I developed the tribe method. So if you want to be on the inside, you got to be an insider. Okay. So I started talking about how I'm a teacher too. So when I talk to the school, the guidance counselor, or the principal, I need to talk how I was a teacher too, not a martial arts business owner or a martial arts teacher, but just as a regular teacher. Right. So then we had this common interest, which is interest in our students. And if you learn to talk like the people in the tribe, then you'll be able to join their tribe. Okay. And the other thing I was able to do, and the reason why I have this picture is because I was in a fraternity, right? And if you wanted to get into a party at the fraternity, you had to A, speak their language, but B, you had to know someone's name. So that name that I took from the website, and I was familiar with them right away, it's kind of like name dropping to get into the party, right? So unless you were a really hot girl or you knew someone by name, you weren't getting in, right? That was just the fact of the time. Okay, I'm not saying it's the right thing, but that's how it worked. Okay. So once I was able to name drop and speak their language, boom, I was in. Okay. So I started to have a great connection with the guidance counselors, and they knew who I was, but they'd still just request an email from me with more information. And we all know how that ends up when someone says, hey, can you just send me an email? So I soon discovered that convincing a school who doesn't know, like, or trust me to let me teach their kids was just about as good as a random Facebook stranger asking if they could babysit your kids. Like, it's not going to happen. All right. So I just felt like it was awkward. And instead of trying to set up anything over the phone, I'd use the 10-minute meeting strategy to get them to meet me in person so we could build trust and rapport. So instead of trying to set up the whole program over the phone, all I wanted to do is set up a 10-minute like meet and greet meeting. And that changed everything for us. Okay. We officially hacked our way in. This is a recent picture, but we did this many, many, many times before COVID as well. That's always how we did it. So the thing is, yes, you can totally hack your way in. And you could try to do it on your own. You'll make a lot of mistakes that I made over the past 6 years. It'll cost you a lot of money and frustration and probably a lot of broken phones. Or you can guarantee your success, and you can find people who've actually done it over and over again, like we have, and simply copy it. Okay. Now, the common myth that people have with secret number one is school hacking. Okay. Is they're in a strict school district. Now, I've been with you too. There's many times in the past where I thought, okay, the school district is just too strict. They're not going to let me in. And if you told me this 5 years ago, I would probably shake my head and agree with you. But we had a nun named Helen, and she was at a very strict Catholic school. And and the funny part was that we tried getting in that school over and over and over again. I was actually the only one we didn't after years. But eventually they let us in using this strategy. Now, just because you're in a strict school district, that doesn't mean they won't accept you. That just means that they're using that as an excuse not to let you in. But if you follow the system, if you speak their language, if you're able to hack your way in, then they're going to accept you, even if you're in a strict school district. And I know because we've been rejected from strict school districts and had to figure it out. Okay. The next common myth is they don't let in outside businesses. Okay. And I've heard that one many times before. People will say that, and I'm telling you, I thought the same way for a long time. But people will let you in as an outside business for public and private schools if they know, like, and trust you. The thing is, you have to be able to work your way and hack your way in, okay, before they know, like, and trust you using the strategies that I'm showing you guys. And the other thing that people say is, yeah, this won't work during COVID, okay? I 100% will. Here's me of a picture of in front of a sign that says we're not letting in guests and visitors during COVID. It doesn't say during COVID, but it is during COVID, and they still let us in. Okay, so if you're able to use these strategies, use them correctly, which is not that difficult. You just have to follow the system. You will be able to do this, and it's going to work for public and private schools. Okay, so literally for anyone it doesn't, it'll work. We've used it at everywhere. Okay, now that brings us to secret number 2. So have your pen and paper out. So secret number 2 is recruit cheerleaders. Okay, are you guys still with me? Give me, like, shake your head if you're like, okay, not falling asleep yet. All right, so secret number 2 is recruit cheerleaders. So I'm going to teach you guys the perfect micro seminar framework. I'm going to teach you the framework for how to structure your seminar so you get invited back year after year, and you get kids to beg to sign up for your program and recruit cheerleaders or recruit teachers to be your biggest cheerleaders. Okay, now if you were able to recruit teachers to be your cheerleaders, and they're basically going to sign up people for you, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So here's what would happen. I'd be really excited when I show up to a school. I know how to teach martial arts, and so I have, like, my chest pumped up, and I'd be ready to teach, and I'd be ready to teach them all my favorite karate moves. Okay, and I would teach them kicks and blocks and punches and self-defense. We talk about the mental benefits of karate, like focus and confidence, and I'm feeling great. But by the time I leave there, we did a good job, and I'm expecting that when I get home, or when I get back to the school and school lets out, my phone's going to start ringing. Okay, but here's what happened. Later that night, when I did my first school seminar, I was able to hack my way in and teach the class. I got a call, and instead of being an excited parent who wanted to sign their child up for karate, it was the principal. It was my first oh shit moment. Okay, so she was saying how teachers and parents were complaining about how kids were practicing their karate moves on each other after we left. And we created too much drama for them, and they don't want to have us back ever again. And my heart, like, dropped to my stomach. And I explained to the principal that, hey, like, we didn't teach the kids that they can kick and punch each other. We told them they actually can't practice on their friends or anyone else. But it didn't matter. Damage was done. And my heart sank in my stomach. And all that hard work we did to get in was just backfiring. So I thought to myself, okay, if I didn't teach martial arts, what the heck was I supposed to teach? Okay. And everyone know who this is? Everyone familiar with this guy, Master Dave Kovar? All right, cool. So Master Dave Kovar is one of the leaders in the martial arts industry, one of my most impactful martial arts mentors. And he taught our students a bully prevention seminar. And it was so good, and the examples were so great that we decided to make it a staple at our studio. So I figured, okay, if I could model the same strategy that he does, I could teach at the local schools. So I taught at local schools, and the kids weren't as active, but they still had fun, and they laughed at the role playing that we were doing. And I felt really good about the whole thing. Okay, so I was able to hack my way into this other school. Now I go teach a different thing during the class. And I felt like this information was really, really helping them. And this brings me to my oh shit moment number 2. Okay. Now, the next year, I went to set up a school program, a micro seminar at this school. The guidance counselor said something to me I thought I would never hear. They said, hey, we loved having you last year, but we don't need any more bullying talks. Last year, we had students talking about how you were getting bullied for months after your presentation, and it really became a pain for the administration because most of it was just kids claiming bullying and parents getting all hot and bothered because of it. Now, I explained to her that during the seminar, I told the kids that bullying had to be repetitive and intentional in order to be considered bullying, but I caused more pain for the school than any help. So they didn't want to have me back. Okay. And I never expected this to happen, but it is what happened. All right. So all of a sudden I felt good, and then bam, I'm slammed back on my back again. I'd just been screwed from everything. All right. So later that night, I was so upset. All right. distraught what happened. I couldn't even believe that this was happening. I got home around classes after 10 o'clock at night and I was ready to just crash. And at the time, I was fostering a dog. Okay. Now, I didn't grow up with a dog and never actually had one personally. So this is a new experience for me. And my mood like instantly shifted when I saw the dog. Now, her name was Bella and she licked my face. She jumped all over me and she just couldn't contain herself from all the excitement. Now, part of the job of fostering was making sure this dog got her pills for her stomach worms. Okay. I don't even know what that means, but that's what they told me to do. Okay. So every day she had to take 2 pills. Now, once again, as a rookie dad dog, rookie dog dad, rookie dog dad here, I figured I'd just drop the pill on the ground. She'd eat it because she's a dog and dogs eat anything. So why wouldn't she want to eat the pill? And as you can imagine, if you're a dog owner, you're probably like, oh, you're an idiot. That's obviously not going to work, right? So next thing I tried is I'm going to feed the dog the pill by hand. Maybe she'll think it's a treat. And she came over, she like sniffed it. She even licked it a couple times, but she didn't eat the pill. Now, by this point, the pill was soggy in my hand, and I didn't know what to do, and it was too late to call the shelter for help. So I called one of my friends who I knew grew up with dogs, and I explained the situation. And if you're a dog owner, like you're smirking at me now, like he was laughing at me over the phone the same way. And he said, "Hey, if you want Bella to eat the pill, you have to wrap it in peanut butter. Give her what she wants in order to get what she needs." Okay. And this was the next light bulb moment for me. In order to give the school and the students what they need, I had to give them first what they want. Okay. So I needed to wrap the peanut butter around the pill. And they even sell products for this exactly for dogs, right? Who knew? So instead of doing whatever stuff I felt like teaching, I would ask the schools and guidance counselors and teachers what challenges they were having at their school that year and ask them to be as specific as possible since every school year is different and all schools have their own unique challenges. And I'd use that information to create a custom perfect micro seminar for them. Okay. So this is how I figured out the Tell Me More method for creating the perfect micro seminar. So if you want to create a perfect micro seminar, but you're not going to get angry calls later and the school's going to be really happy and invite you back year after year, you need to find out what they want in order to give them what they need. Okay. So this is the Tell Me More method using peanut butter around. So I'd give the schools exactly what they want. And instead of teaching punching, kicking, and self-defense, I'd instead do a very simple non-striking movements like blocks and ducks and jumps, all defensive. So I couldn't possibly get in trouble. And the kids all still had the same amount of fun. The teachers and school administrators wanted to invite me back because I talked about all the things that they have challenged with that year, right? And all of a sudden I became that other voice that was supporting what they were thinking, all right? Now, the strategy number 2 to create the perfect micro seminar and recruit cheerleaders to sell your program for you is the teacher attack method. Okay. Now here's what happened. I went to set up a program for a school. I was able to hack my way in. I knew how to use the Tell Me More method and to create the perfect micro seminar designed for that school. And I figured that it wouldn't be that hard. Okay. Now the problem was I always had another one of my instructors with me to help. And I went to one of the schools, and this school had 750 kids in the school. Okay. And I had 8 back-to-back sessions of almost 100 kids in each session. But I figured, like, I'm going to be fine. I have it covered. We're going to be totally okay. That was until my other instructor called out the morning of. He said he was super sick. He couldn't make it. He sounded like on the phone he was actually going to die. So just how sick he was. So it's like, all right, I have to teach a seminar all on my own and plus go to the dojo afterwards and teach all of those classes as well, right? And I'm like, oh my God, how the hell am I going to do this on my own? Plus, here's what the setup looked like. It was a bunch of first graders in a large gym where the noise carried like crazy and a squeak from the shoe would reverberate like a lightning strike. Okay, so everything, it was just hard to talk, hard to do everything. And I started to lose my voice, okay, in the first 20 minutes. And I felt helpless and I couldn't control all the kids because it was so noisy. And this wasn't the best school in the area, okay, so the kids weren't the most behaved. And it was a giant group and it was just me. I'm like, I got to figure out how to do this on my own. Okay. Now I looked around and I realized that I had a ton of qualified teachers in the room. I just needed to use them. Now, this pick was taken when they were paying attention, okay? But usually, a lot of times they'd be on their phones or talking to each other, using my seminar as free time, which I don't blame them. I get it, but I was desperate and needed their help badly, okay? So then I realized, okay, or that's how I created the teacher attack method. Now, I recruited them as attackers and had them be active participants in the seminar. Okay. Now I recruited them to be part of my team. They could help me run the class, even if I didn't have anyone else, even if they had no karate experience, even if I was a lone teacher there. All of a sudden, I had 5 or 10 teachers there with me that could teach the class. Okay. They're all qualified teachers. They know how to handle it. They're good with the kids. Now, this was great, but I felt like, oh, it could be even better. Even when I had other teachers there, like other martial arts teachers with me, I'd still have the school teachers be active participants in the seminar. And at the end, they would give me positive feedback. And I felt like I needed to harness that good energy and that positive feedback that they gave me. Now, here's kind of what happened. I was sitting at my parents' house with my mom, and she's at the kitchen table and she's watching TV. So I'm there for lunch, and we're sitting at the kitchen table. Yeah, there's a TV in every room. Okay, even the kitchen, and most of them still have VCRs. So she's watching a show called Dr. Oz. Do you guys know Dr. Oz? You familiar with him? All right, and he's talking about some new product he's pushing. I don't remember what it even is. Okay, so I sit down curiously to watch my mom while reading, and while he was obviously like pushing the product, he didn't talk much about it. He mainly had outside experts talk about it. And everyone knows Dr. Oz is going to push the product, whatever's on his show. But if other people on his show are talking about it, then it must have validity. Okay. And I realized if I needed to recruit cheerleaders, from the teachers, I need them to become my biggest cheerleaders. Okay. So my teachers became my teachers became my cheerleaders. Now here's what happened. After the seminar, I'd asked the teachers if they'd be willing to say a couple sentences about what they thought about the program. Now after teaching the seminar that hit the pain points of what was happening at their school, they would always be huge supporters of what we were doing, because I was helping with exactly what their challenges were. And they were having so much fun with the kids. To get them to give me a quick testimonial at the end was effortless. So we'd use those testimonials to sell our program for us for years. And here's what the testimonials looked like. Okay. We'd get them to say a couple sentences, take a picture of them, whether it's the principal, the guidance counselor, the teacher. Okay. And we use them to sell our program. Okay. Now it wasn't me selling the program. I was using the Dr. Oz method to get these students' teachers selling the program for us. Sound good? Pretty awesome, right? So you're going to be able to do this too. It's not difficult or hard to do. You just need to know what to say and have a phone on you. That's it. Simple enough, right? So, and once you're able to do this, you have these cheerleaders that you've created for life. Now we have dozens of them from every single school, and but still people would say, hey, that's cool, but like, I'm nervous saying that, or I don't know if that'll work for me. So I have Ashley over here who was nervous about the same thing. I'm going to show you guys how she was able to make it work.
But the hardest part was actually getting into the schools and the daycares, letting the guidance counselors and the principals actually let us come in. So going through Matt Brenner's process and asking the teachers to be like our biggest cheerleaders and biggest supporters and asking for testimonials from them. Trust me, I was super embarrassed, super shy, didn't really want to do it, felt like I was a burden, but actually going through the process with Matt Brenner and him teaching us how to properly do it was absolutely amazing. Now I have no problem asking the teachers for testimonials and no problem asking the guidance counselors and the principals. And it's probably one of the easiest ways to set up a daycare program and a school program, because all of those schools see testimonials from those teachers. So highly recommend working with Matt Brenner in them. But the hardest.
Cool. So you guys get the idea. Even if you're shy, even if you haven't done this before, even if you think it won't work, you can make it work for you as long as you know what to say. Okay. So here's some common myths people say about about recruiting cheerleaders. They think, oh, you have to be charismatic. Well, no, you don't. I mean, you have to be somewhat of a people, be able to speak to people. But if you're already a martial arts instructor, you're already used to doing that. And if you're able to connect and use the teacher's language, you'll be able to easily recruit these cheerleaders for years and years to come. Now, some people will say our style of martial arts won't work for this. Once again, if you want to actually be able to help someone, sometimes you got to give them the peanut butter around the pill. So even if you're not teaching your exact style, what you normally teach in a class, you'll never be able to help them unless they become a student at your school. So if you're able to teach something that you know is going to attract them to your school and then really be able to help them, then you're really doing that student a service. Okay. You're just wrapping the peanut butter around the pill, giving them what they want in order to give them what they need. The other common myth is it seems like a lot of work. Okay. And the cool part is that, like, once you set this up one time, it takes less than a couple hours for each school, less than 3 hours. It's something that you're going to get every single year. Okay. So it takes less than 3 hours to set up. And once you do it, you get students over and over and over again. Imagine if you set up one ad on Facebook, it would never last year to year. Those things barely last a couple weeks or a couple months. This is something that's evergreen, that you're able to, catch fish from the same spot over and over and over again. So that brings me into secret number 3. Okay. So secret number 3 is becoming a celebrity sensei. All right. Now, I'm going to give you guys the framework, as I call it, the give back framework. All right. So I feel like I had a good grasp of how to hack my way into schools, had a good grasp of how to create the perfect micro seminar and recruit cheerleaders to be our biggest proponents. But I didn't know how to convert these students into paying members. And we had some success. It wasn't like we didn't have any. And we had a lot of goodwill in the community, but not enough to make like a significant increase in our students in the mat or our income. So we had people trickle in here and there, but not a rushing stream like I wanted, and I felt like we could have. Okay. Now, luckily, some of our students went to some of these schools that we went to already, right? So some of our karate students, they went to this school that we would go to. And I'd ask the parents after we did the seminar at their school, I'd say, hey, did you get a flyer sent home today from the school? And I couldn't believe it, but out of the 3 schools we did that 1 month, none of the kids brought home any of the paperwork we sent. And I couldn't believe it. No wonder why the phones were barely ringing, right? So yeah, we got some calls, but they didn't have any information to send home. So how are parents supposed to know how to follow it up? So I called the schools and asked them what happened. And they said they weren't allowed to give out any business paperwork. And this blew my mind. No one told me that. And I was so frustrated. I felt like I was going to quit the whole thing. Like, forget this. This is unbelievable. I do all this energy and effort and work to do these free programs for the schools, and they're not even going to hand out a piece of paper for me. Honestly, I just felt like it was bullshit, and I was really mad. So we sent home flyers that kind of looked like this, and maybe we'd spend a lot of time designing them and printing them, but they weren't getting them. So none of it mattered. So I was distraught, and I felt like I didn't think there was anything I could do. Like, I can't make the school give out flyers. I didn't want to tarnish the relationship that we just built and all the goodwill. So a couple months later, I'm sitting in my office and 3 students walk in. Now, they're in the 5th grade play, and I wanted to see if I would donate. So raise your hand right now if a student has ever walked in your office asking you for money for some play or some fundraiser. Yeah, definitely, right? Now, they had a flyer that said if I bought water ice from the local place that week, that they would donate 20% of the proceeds to this play. And I was like, wait, so this water ice place can send business info home, but for me teaching kids karate, doing them a free service, I can't. And this made me ducking mad. Okay. And I feel like, I was so upset, but eventually when I calmed down, I realized that this is exactly what I need to do. Okay. I need to, instead of them, say, hey, we can't send home business paperwork, I need to set up the way these other businesses are already doing it. I need to fit into the system that they already have instead of them making them go into my system. So I reached out to the PTA. Now, if you don't know, the PTA is the Parent Teacher Association, also called the Home Home and School Association or Parent Teacher Organization. They have a couple of different names, but most schools have them. Okay. Now I asked them, hey, if I could donate 100% of the proceeds for anyone that signs up for our karate offer, and in exchange they send out 2 emails on our behalf, would they do that? And they're like, wait a minute, we don't have to bake cookies or make candles or get volunteers to run a table to raise money for our PTA. I don't need to do anything besides send a couple emails. And they're like, yeah, we'll definitely do that. That sounds awesome. And it became a no-brainer decision for them. And at the next Perfect Micro seminar we did, I attached a small letter to our flyer. I don't call it a flyer, I call it a ticket, right? So that way they want to take it home. And the letter, the small piece of paper stapled to the top of it, and it explained how this money was all going to go back to the PTA. And the letter was designed, it was written from the PTA. Even though I wrote it, it was designed to look like it was from the PTA, about how the money is going to go back to the school at 100%, not 5%, not 15%, not 25%, 100% of the proceeds of the trial go back to the school. So not all their tuition forever, just the cost of the trial, which is usually around $49. Now, the school wanted to hand out their paperwork and made sure that it got home that day. So they didn't miss it. They didn't miss out on the opportunity to collect money for the school. And all those teachers that gave me testimonials, and all those teachers that became cheerleaders, we printed their images on the back of the flyer, and they became our little salespeople. So it's kind of like recruiting an entire team of salespeople that spreads word about your program for free. Okay. And they're all exactly where your target customer is, which is school. And these are people that parents trust the most, right? Who do they trust more than their child's teacher? Now imagine if you're a pharmaceutical company that all the doctors recommending your medicine. Would you be successful? Hell yeah, you would, right? And that's exactly what's happening. So how do you turn into a celebrity sensei? Now, just like many of you guys listening, I would handle all the new students, and it was my job to make sure they loved the program and wanting to enroll. So it was like 3 p.m. after classes started. And earlier that week, we did a micro seminar at a local private Catholic school. Now, his kid's name was Derek, okay? And he came walking in with his mom with a grin on his face. And he goes like, hey, I know you from TV, okay? And I looked up and I was like, who said this? Like, how do you know me from TV? But it wasn't Derek that said it. It was actually his mom, all right? And I was like, wait, you know me from TV? And at that point, we hadn't been on TV in like a year and a half. So I was like, I don't think she knows me from TV. But she had seen me in the flyers we sent home, in the email. She saw me post in the local Facebook community group about how we did the school program. And she automatically, I became like a celebrity in her head, right? Because she's seen me so many different times in so many different places related to her school and education and martial arts. And that's how we became the celebrity sensei. Okay. Now, this is one of the checks we wrote. We had a ton of these, and we got it even covered by the local news. We became the go-to martial arts community because we were willing to give back that money. Okay. And we do things that other martial arts school owners simply aren't willing to do. Okay. This is we got a big check for this one, which is pretty cool. Over $1,600 directly back to the PTA. And remember, they had to do nothing besides send 2 emails. So it became a no-brainer for them. And these teachers and guidance counselors became such cheerleaders for us that they'd wear, here's a guidance counselor wearing our sweatshirt to school every day, right? And like now they're promoting us. I don't have to promote. Instead of recruiting new students, I'm just attracting them. They're just coming to us, okay? And before we knew it, we're finally able to cross the threshold that we couldn't get past. Like we quickly soared from 60 students to over 200 doing this same exact strategy, okay? Go from this school program to directly how you see it on the mat. Now, if you teach kids, this is truly going to be the most evergreen ad or marketing strategy you can ever do. Better than Facebook, Instagram, Google, TikTok, everything. Kids will always go to school. You can always go there, and it never costs you any money. All right. So there's no better marketing strategy. Now, the common myth about secret number 3, people say I'm not good at Facebook or online marketing. Great. You don't have to be. Okay. That's a great part about this. You don't have to be a social media wizard to make it happen. You just need to follow the fit systems of hacking your way in, recruiting, creating the perfect micro seminar, recruiting cheerleaders, and then using the Dr. Oz method to become a celebrity sensei in your area. And that's going to pay dividends over and over and over again. People say this sounds like a lot of work. It takes less than 3 hours to do every single school. And once you do it once, you're going to do it over and over and over again, right? It's not something that fades away with time. Once you build that relationship, it's evergreen. It lasts forever. Now, some people will say like, I tried this before and it didn't work. And so there's no point in trying to do it again. Well, yeah, it didn't work the way you tried it, right? So if you want to follow a system that I know that works, because we've done it not only myself, but other people I've shared this with, then I'm going to show you it's not your fault. You just had the wrong strategy. And if you put together the puzzle pieces, like I'm going to show you how to do, then you'll be able to do this on your own with success. So the other comment that people will say, like, have to be good at marketing everywhere. You don't. Okay. The top picture is a picture of a kid with a dad fishing. That's what most marketing is. You put out a hook and a bait in a giant open ocean, and you hope the fish finds the bait and the hook, right? What we do is what the bottom girl is doing, which is fishing in a barrel. We're putting the bait and the hook directly where all of our customers are. That barrel is a school. And if you're fishing out of a barrel, are you more likely to come home with more fish? 100%, right? So this is much more targeted marketing. You don't have to put it out in the open ocean. This is easy pickings, people. You guys can do this all on your own. The other thing, the common myth that people will say is, hey, I can't become a celebrity sensei in my area because the other dojo has been there forever. It takes a long time to become this celebrity sensei and go and be the go-to school in your area. Okay. So here's Chang's Karate. I don't say this to brag. I'm just telling you the truth of what happened. They were, when we moved into our neighborhood, they had been there for 25 plus years. I'm sure everyone has a martial arts school somewhere in their area, probably similar, or maybe you are that school. After we started doing this school program, we became like the no-brainer school, martial arts school. We became the go-to one that was recommended by every grade school in the area. And now that karate school is a gas station. So I'm not saying proud of that happened, but like the cool part is you don't really have to worry about the competition. If you're able to use this, the competition has to worry about you. Okay. So the question is, do you think you can make this work? Do you think you can finally break through? Okay. And the answer is yeah, but it might sound like a lot of information. So right now, if you're feeling like you just got shot with a water hose in the face, I don't blame you. I'm going to show you the Future School 4-step framework, or I kind of did, but I'm going to show you even further. Now, here's the cool part about this framework. It's going to save you time and thousands of dollars every month for the rest of your business, for the rest of your life, okay, for the life of your business. So we put it all together so you can finally get students direct from the source, get reliable enrollments year after year, become the celebrity sensei in your area, totally own your territory, become the go-to dojo, get new students for free, create raving fans, never worry about a competition, and increase your income per student, okay? And we put it all together so you can finally get rid of wasted Facebook booths, your marketing agency, if that's not working for you, an advertising agency, a social media manager, Google AdWords, doing birthday parties, table events, Instagram ads, supermarket ads, posting TikToks. You still can do that stuff if you want to, but you're not going to have to if you follow this system, okay? So there's an easy way and there's a hard way to do this, okay? Now, the hard way is try to figure it out all on your own and try to do everything and make the same mistakes that I did and go through lots of frustration. The easy way will be to skip all that and follow the exact system I've already figured out so you can start implementing this right away. I already put this together for you so you can avoid the frustration and all that frustration that I had. And I put it all together for you so there's no trial and error period. You're skipping all of that, okay? So who is this for? This is for instructors and owners and managers. Martial arts school owners and managers, or enrollment directors or program directors, okay? Now, this is not for people who just do this for a passion or don't want to grow their business. If you don't want to grow their business, this is not going to be for you because you think you aren't already. Because if you think you aren't ready, now's the time to set it up. Because even if you are just a school manager, you might be thinking, yeah, this is awesome. I'm going to get this set up later. But that's a mistake. That'll hold you back from being successful. So it doesn't matter if it's summer, midwinter, end of school year, you can start using these strategies right now. So right now I'm going to put a link in the chat box, and you're going to be able to sign up for a time where you can have a chat with me, and you're going to reserve your territory. Okay. I can't show this to you and also show it to the same local dojo in your area. That wouldn't be fair to you. So we have to reserve your territories. I'm going to make sure first that your territory is available. And once it is, through our phone call, we'll figure that out. You'll be able to reserve it. Now, like I mentioned, if you spend too much time thinking about a thing, you're never going to get it done. Okay. So you have two choices. You can do nothing. If you do nothing with this information you've learned over the last hour, what will you get? You'll get nothing. Or you could choose to take a leap of faith, just test it out and see if it works for you. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Now, we're only offering this for anyone who signs up in the next 30 minutes, and it won't be offered again, but I'm going to show you this school system. Now, before we do that, here's what you need to know. If you got one thing out of this, let's say the one thing you got was you became more confident at where your next student was coming from. Would it be worth it? Right? It definitely is. So here's your two choices again. Do nothing. You'll be in the same exact spot you are right now, or you can make it work. You have nothing to lose. If you sign up in the next 30 minutes with the link in the chat box, not only will we set up a reservation for your territory in your area, but I'm also going to give you the toilet marketing guide. I'm going to show you how you can stop flushing your advertising budget down the toilet. I'm going to show you how martial arts schools and owners and managers can recruit new students from their home toilet with $0 ad budget and the tech skills of a second grader. Okay, only for people who register for the next 30 minutes. So click on the link in the chat box now. It's quick and easy. You'll just set up a phone call for me. I call it a leave your credit card at home phone call. This is not a sales call. There's no obligation to do anything. I just want to make sure that you're a good fit for this program and that we actually have your territory available. We can reserve it for you. So click the link below. You're going to do that right now. So stop looking at me, click the link below. Is this for everyone? No, it's not going to be for everyone. It's only for people who are motivated to grow their martial arts business. So thank you guys for watching. I'm going to take some Q&A questions now for anyone that might have any questions.